The symbolism of the bridegroom and the bride in the Bible. In biblical tradition, the image of the bridegroom and the bride opens and closes Scripture, starting from the original couple in Genesis and culminating in Jesus Christ. God Satan is depicted as the bridegroom of Israel, while Judah is the unfaithful bride who, by betraying God Satan with idolatry, commits adultery and prostitution. The punishment for this betrayal is described in Deuteronomy: abandonment and exile, first for Israel and then for Judah, followed by forgiveness and return for Judah. The deportation of Israel and Judah symbolizes the dispersion of God's project, as stated in Genesis. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. According to a textual deciphering, this concept is not real in itself, but was constructed as part of an encrypted code linked to the opening of a portal and the forward passage, leading to a falsified reality. The theme of the bridegroom and the bride also appears in the Gospels, especially in Matthew, which connects the Old Testament to the New through genealogy, from Abraham to David, from David to the Babylonian exile, from the return to Jesus. In the Old Testament, the bridegroom and the bride symbolize the covenant between God Satan and his people. In the New Testament, this symbolism evolves into the marriage of the Lamb, where Christ, dead and risen, joins the heavenly Jerusalem. Jesus is the messianic bridegroom, and the bride is the church, represented as the temple, which in turn symbolizes the thalamus. According to the code, the bridal chamber represents the human consciousness transformed by God Satan to degenerate matter. In 70 CE, the conquest of Jerusalem and the diaspora marked the fall of the city and the destruction of the temple. The number 70 symbolizes completion. According to this view, the temple never physically existed, but symbolized the transition from generative to degenerative consciousness. The concept of the bridegroom and the bride is an euphemism referring to the male reproductive organs, tied to a language centered on sex and generation. In the encrypted code, the bridegroom represents the man project identified with Jesus, the shoot, the seed of Jesse, linked to Nazareth from Netzah, shoot, seed. Jesus, as the bridegroom, represents the male seed that fertilizes the bride, symbolized by the female earthwomb that receives the seed. The project is divided into two sides: the outgoing phase, represented in the Bible as prostitution, linked to the sacred prostitute and virgin, symbolizing the union of pagan idols with Mary, the mother goddess, and the returning phase, represented by Yahweh in the Old Testament, and by Jesus in the Gospel of John as the acronym Yahweh, Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. The union of Jesus, seed, and the mother, matter, is symbolized in the words to the beloved disciple: "Woman, behold your son. Son, behold your mother," which represents the project becoming materialized in Mary. The biblical text uses symbolic language based on associations. Motus means movement or displacement, while motivus means reason or cause. These terms are linked to concepts like walking, movement, agitation, excitement, orgasm. The movement is not physical but inner, representing the passage of the project through levels of consciousness. In John it says, "You heard me say, I go and come to you," translated as, "I will return to you." Symbolically, the coming is connected to the project incarnating in the consciousness medium, the person, through transmission, orgasm, seed, matter, Mary. "I go and come to you" means that the man seed, the project, enters matter, symbolized by the woman, Mother Earth, Mary. Mother comes from the Latin mater, root of matter. Matter is what receives the project. Mary, as an archetype, represents the consciousness container of matter, the one who receives the degenerative project from human consciousness through God Satan after separation from the generator of life. Mother Earth is the receptive field where the project of God Satan enters through the seed in order to degenerate it. This seed is a verbal and mental code transmitted into the medium, the person. A simulated reality is formed by God Satan, a falsified perception of matter, inducing people into a false perception. This ties to the concept of the sacred prostitute and the virgin, symbolizing the opening of a portal and the creation of a consciousness network. The consciousness network represents a system of mental control and the loss of reason. In Revelation it says, Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls full of the last 7 plagues came and spoke to me. "Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb." This statement refers to the union of the bridegroom and the bride, Jesus and the church, which symbolizes the project of God Satan being fulfilled through the cycle of going and returning.